Clinton Yates on The Undefeated. We're talking in the wake of the All-Star game, and here we are again. What do you make about Chapter 2 here? There's so much to talk about. 6 minutes, 4.5 hours, lying in wait, ambushing, under the umbrella of all of this language stinks. But it's been weaponized now.
What I make of it, Bob, is that, as I said last week, baseball has a real issue to address here that doesn't just have to do with social media faux pas. If you've got every other guy in some game who's got the option of being able to dig through his tweets and find something terrible in terms of bigotry in his past, this is a cultural problem, not just one of guys who should be scrubbing their accounts. If he did this when he was at NC State, what do you think the environment was like in that locker room? What do you think the environment's like on that team bus or on that field? This isn't about vilifying one specific person. It's about what 18-year-olds playing baseball in this country do, apparently how they communicate to the rest of the world. And that's an issue for the sport overall, not just for anybody on Twitter or any other social media platform.
Cultural, educational, we can get to that. But there are immediate questions. How, after the All-Star game, has not everyone gone back and your agent, your lawyer, your parents, you, get rid of the evidence, blow it up, Nixon, burn the tapes. What the devil? It is a new dimension of dumb to have this out there.
Well, that shows exactly, again, how big this issue is, because people probably don't even remember that they have done such things and have created such problems in their lives. And that is the larger issue for me overall. Trea Turner is otherwise a nice guy. It's from what we understand, so to speak. He runs an anti-bullying effort, and he is the public face of an initiative that is designed to help kids who deal with this problem. So if that guy, of all people, can look back in his past and say, hey, I've got a lot of growing to do, pretty much anybody should be able to do that. And it's a sad state of affairs in terms of what we're seeing from some of our younger stars in the game.
I've seen a compendium on one of the websites out there, I shan't name it, we can't confirm it, that was posted 11 days ago that purports to have a number of prospects and other major leaguers with offensive language. In other words, there's more ammo out there waiting to be dropped.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that say the commissioner can't do anything about it. It's unfair in the context of the fact that guys weren't in the major leagues yet or they weren't professional players yet. But there's the good of the game clause. At some point, Manfred's going to have to address this and say, look, we as Major League Baseball do not stand for guys that are entering our league to have sort of expressed themselves in this way. And you've got to find a way to not nip it in the bud. We're well past that point at this stage. But you've got to find a way to make sure that the league recognizes this is an actual problem, not just a case of teenagers popping off at the mouth, because the two things are more correlated than not when it comes to who chooses to like baseball and who doesn't.
So how do you do that realistically? You're dealing with the players union. You're up in the major leagues. You're represented by the MLB and all the protections that they have rightly won over the decades against the owners in Major League Baseball. If you're in the minors, you don't have that protection as a player, and you want to put something out there that recognizes there is a sliver of veracity, and yeah, they were younger, but and it doesn't get you too far. All of that's into the soup here. How do you deal with it?
I think the way you do it is you go, if you're Manfred, you go to each team and you say, hey, look, this isn't just about sensitivity training. This is about walking into dugouts and walking into clubhouses and explaining to people, this is not who we are. This is not what we do. This is not, most importantly, what we want baseball to be. It's well beyond Twitter at this stage. If you've got troves and troves of evidence out there, the commissioner, for the good of the game, has to step in and say, if we don't find that what you're doing to educate your players at each level of the game is sufficient to our standards, you're getting fined, and it might be that the player has to get suspended as well. I don't care what level he plays at.
All right, as we said, 6 minutes and 4.5 hours for the two intervals last night. We'll see if there is more in that realm. Clinton, always good to lock horns and have this conversation.